this started, and then all that hip supported low row. Okay, that's awesome. Okay. When I was doing hip supported low row, I thought honestly you could do that workout a lot better on a different machine. Like doing just a regular cable low row would be a million times better. Because when you're doing it lightweight, sure you can like feel the activation a little bit, but you know you need more weight. And the minute you get up there in weight, like when you're doing 90 pounds, right, even there, you're still not pulling enough to really make it worth it, and the bench starts to move. So yeah. It really was not an optimal workout. Honestly, I can't think of a reason I would do that one over any other sort of machine low row or cable low row. Overall, it was kind of a useless workout, but I'll still give it like a 4 out of 10. Plus, it looked good on camera, so I guess that's a little advantage. I see why social media people would really post that one. You got to see a lot of activation, but all in all, I really wouldn't recommend that one to anybody. Then for your next one, so while I was doing the triceps push down, right, honestly, that was a phenomenal workout. I've already done it before with the straight bar, but when I saw people online doing it with pressing out with the two handles, right, I was like, I gotta give it a try, and honestly, I think it's better. Definitely better than the straight arm. And everyone was still pinning their arms, so I gotta try it with the pinned arm. Definitely a great workout. Easily a 9 out of 10. It's probably gonna make it into my actual schedule. At one point, I did go a little too heavy. I realized that. After my first set of it, I made some small adjustments, like putting the seat a little more down and bringing the cable down. So you definitely gotta play with it a little bit, but really the cable should only be a bit above your head, and you should be like on the bench with a bench at like a good angle, kind of like you're doing incline press. Same angle, then pull it down and press out. That's how you're gonna really optimize that tricep push down. And it gave me a great pump too, hugely effective. And then the cable high row. That's a little bit. That was amazing. The cable high row with the two handles, going like this and pulling down, great workout. I think it was definitely better than a normal high row, especially because you can support yourself on the front, like on the bench, and then go into it. So you guys support yourself and pull. Definitely a huge activation. Felt very stable. I will say the one problem would be if you have a weak forearm, you really do have to use your forearms quite a bit when you're pulling down. For me, my forearms, I've already trained them a lot from doing things like that, pull down, stuff like that. But if that's a weak spot for you, you're definitely going to struggle at keeping that one stable. And you're going to really like tap out before you tap out on your back because you just don't have that same ability to hold the weight long. And then obviously when I was laying down and pulling it, like the reverse bench, I think is what I'm gonna call it. Actually, no, yeah, that goes with my hips. That's supposed to work your upper back and your rear delts and stuff. Terrible. It's not stable. And for the amount of weight you'd actually have to move to be using that, because like if you're a beginner, you really shouldn't even touch that one. There's no point. And if you're not, and you're using that, the amount of weight you would actually need is just not going to keep yourself down. Maybe if you put 45 on yourself, you'd be able to get like more weight and you might actually feel a bit more. But for me, I thought I almost had it good because I felt a little bit of activation at the beginning. But really, it's just an unstable, unusable workout. Definitely, just because it looks cool on social media and will get a lot of clicks. Would not recommend. I'll give that a 3 out of 10. One of the weaker workouts, definitely of the day. Let's see, what else did we do today? Oh, the biceps. Just a nice workout. Oh yeah. So when I was doing that laying down bicep, oh my god, that was incredible. Definitely a top workout I've tried for biceps. I'm sure I won't call it my number one, but definitely great to mix into that rotation. Put it in there with preacher curls, put it in there with single arms, put a nice mix it up because you don't want to do the same workouts over and over again. So I won't call it the most phenomenal. It's definitely a solid 9 out of 10. Just a good, solid bicep workout. Really makes you feel it. Definitely think anybody can just throw it in there, include it in their workout, and end up feeling great. If you do that, I feel like you'll actually get like great activation on those biceps, grow them fast. And I feel like it's something you can definitely afford to throw in your routine without feeling like you're just doing something that's fluff. And it did look good on camera, so I fully understand why people are posting it on social media. Good on camera and a great workout. That one gets my stamp of approval. I'll give it a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 right in there. So really, I think the cable high row, the prone bicep curl, tricep push downs, and like out. Were all three very solid workouts. But I do believe the bent over low row on the cable was not worth it. And I think you could have done it a lot better on, even if you had just adjusted that one and faced the other way and just done like a T-bar row, or just held the handle and come into like a regular row. I might demonstrate that later. I feel like that could also be more effective. All in all, I just think you have a lot better options, and that one was just bad. And it took more time to set up and was unstable. And you have to take like a bench and a cable section for something that's not optimal. I really don't recommend. I don't see any point in it. It really was not a workout I could see myself doing again, or I think anyone who's friends with me or as a client of mine, I would recommend it too. Also, let me know how you guys feel about this sort of setup where I'm doing cardio while I talk about the workouts and stuff. I'm still figuring out this whole YouTube thing. I think I might need to start adding more like B-roll and like shots of me setting up each thing so people can really understand what I mean by the setup time and all the categories that really factor into my decision. Because like when I'm rating these things, I don't just think about how good the workout is. I think about how many other workouts you can do for the same thing, how it compares to those workouts. And I also think about whether it's worth it versus those. Because like if this one gives you 8 out of 10 activation, this one gives you 7 out of 10 activation, this one takes more time, more setup, and all that stuff, I would still recommend the 7 out of 10, especially if I feel like more people could comfortably do it. Because one of the big things in a lot of these social media workouts is even, and it's a little bit better, for a lot of people, they're not going to get that form right. They're not going to understand how to actually do it. Like even for me, when I was doing that bent over one, right, I had to watch that video a few times to figure out how to press my stomach over it and how to get comfortable. And I can think of other ways that you can improve these workouts versus what I saw by like keeping it from moving forward and things like that. But one, that's not what they did in the video. So that's not what they're telling everyone to do. And that's why I'm judging these. Because I want people to understand that what they're seeing. I want them to actually rate it. Because these people, they don't do the workout like they show it. They do it a little bit differently for social media. Me personally, I just did it like I recorded it. That's how I would do it in my own workouts. That's how you guys should do it too.